What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another market update video. Before I begin, I want to do a couple of channel housekeeping notes. I want to say thank you to my latest Patreon supporters, Dan Wolf and Tomb Toys. They just joined the Patreon ranks, so thank you so much for becoming members. It really does help pay for the giveaways. I've got one rolling right now that you saw in my last Vintage Kenner market update video for the Retro Collection Luke Landspeeder. I've got another couple of items I'm going to be adding to the giveaway pile here soon. And when I get my act together and work is not so busy, I'm going to do an overview of my graded Credit Collection Black Series Mandalorian figures. And I've got an extra one of those, as you know, if you're a follower of my channel. I've got a CAS graded heavy Mandalorian Best Buy exclusive that I'm going to give away free of charge. And so just stay tuned. All of those will be coming soon. But thank you guys to all my Patreon supporters, but my latest ones, Dan and Tomb Toys, thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and dig right in. I've got, I don't know, 15 or so vintage collection items that have sold over the last few days. And I want to start with one that I really want to get at some point soon. And that is VC01, where it all started. This is the Dengar with the free Boba Fett offer. You know, this one sold for a pretty substantial price. It was $166 US plus if I was in the US, another $50 shipping. So $200 plus if you were in the US, but a pretty high number. But if you look at the photos, you know, it had some pretty major wear too. I'm going to zoom in where I can. Some pretty, not major, but, you know, significant wear that it would, you know, it was noticeable damage. So I was surprised that it sold that high, but given where, you know, this is the first one in the entire line. It's an awesome figure too. Great mold, great paint, great card back, obviously, that's been sharpened up. But I was surprised that it sold that high. So $166 plus shipping for that one. All right, I've got a couple in this video where I don't know what's going on with the prices. There's a couple that I want to show you where it's low graded, but somebody paid, and in auctions for some of these, you know, still bought it because it's graded, but even though they're low grade, and this is a case where I think that you could get a better quality figure if you were patient and are willing to deal with the wait times at all the different grading companies right now. But you know, this one was AFA 8.0, which, you know, for a modern item, that's pretty low. I think that, and I'm not saying that that's terrible. I mean, it's certainly kind of better than some grades, but I think for a Shea Vizsla, if you're going to spend, you know, this one sold for $317 in an auction, 31 bids, plus shipping, plus taxes from eBay. And to me, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful item. I'm not saying I'm not trying to diminish the item at all, but I think that if you're going to spend $300 plus on a Shea Vizsla, I think that if you were really careful and take your time, I think you can find one of these for about the same price, if not slightly more, and get it graded yourself and come away with something that'll be a little bit higher grade, an 8.5 or a 9.0 on the modern scale. And so, you know, that's just my personal opinion on this. It certainly looks nice and it's unpunched and all that, but I think at 8.0 for a modern item, I think that I expected this to sell for close to half of that number. So that to me was pretty high. But, you know, another auction that ended very recently, let's see, 2 days ago, this one was for another Shea Vizsla plus a Darth Malgus. Both were unpunched and appeared to be in amazing condition. You know, not perfect by any means, but pretty darn nice. And I would bet a lot of money that these two would grade higher than what that Shea Vizsla sold for, and it sold for about the same price, slightly higher, $4 plus shipping, you know, slightly more on shipping. So, and you're getting two figures instead of one. Maybe save up some more money and get them graded yourself if you're willing to deal with the wait times, and you're getting a better deal. You're getting two awesome figures for the same price as the 8.0 graded Shea Vizsla. So no comparison in my book. I would have bought these two for the same money and graded them myself. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's just my personal opinion on it. But I found a few vehicles that have sold this past week, and because there was 2 or 3 of them, I thought it would make sense to go ahead and show all of the ones I found. But this one was a sealed Return of the Jedi AT-AT Walker, and a really nice item. And that price was actually not terrible given the condition. It had just a slight bit of damage up there in the upper right-hand corners, you can see. But overall, given the size of this item and the age of this item, it was in pretty good shape. I'd say AFA 85 or 80 plus, somewhere in that range. Now, a boxed item like this, where it's very difficult to find, number one, still factory sealed, I'd be okay with an 80 or an 80 plus on a boxed item like this. The Shea Vizsla, I mean, there's plenty of those that sell every single week. So these don't come up that often for auction. But this one sold for $455 plus shipping. Let's call it after taxes, $500-ish. That's actually not a bad price, even with the slight damage to the item. So another sealed vehicle that sold was the Y-Wing. Lovely box art there. It harkens back to the old Kenner days. I still have my original childhood Y-Wing hanging up next to me in my collection room. You can't see it here, but as you can see up here, I've got a few vehicles, and one of those is my Y-Wing from childhood. But anyway, this, or excuse me, B-Wing, not Y-Wing. This is the B-Wing, sorry. But I've got actually a B-Wing and a Y-Wing hanging up, so pretty cool. But this one is, factory sealed. And, I wanted to show this one because you need to be cautious on this because the seller did not show much in terms of the photos. These are the two photos they showed, but you can't see any of the corners. So, again, most people are not crazy enough like me to actually get something like this graded. But if you're going to be paying top dollar, and this one sold for, roughly $300 after shipping, if you're going to be spending $300, you better get some better photos. And so this is one of those cases where I would have definitely asked for more photos from the seller just to see what those corners look like, because none of the photos really show any of the corners or if there's any corner dings or damage, and you have no idea whether it's truly factory sealed. You're relying on the description. So anyway, just my personal opinion, I probably would have asked for some more photos on that one. Another interesting one was the TIE Interceptor. This was still sealed in the white mail-away box, mailer box. That one sold for pretty big money. It sold for $336 shipped. And that one is one I've seen sell a few times over the last few months, and it keeps going up and up in price. But you don't often see these still with the still factory sealed in the white mailer box. So this would qualify for uncirculated grading, believe it or not. Not that anyone would be stupid enough to do that like me, but that was a pretty interesting price, given that there's only one photo, but it does look awfully mint based on that one photo. But that sold for $336. So that's three different vehicles that sold all in the last week, and I just thought they were kind of worth showing. Another seller overseas had some European cards with the European warning sticker on the back, and this was Nikto. It was advertised as unpunched and mint, and it looked pretty mint to me. But that price was pretty high. It sold for $161 roughly US plus shipping. So a big number for Nikto. I mean, we all know that the week way goes for big money, but I can't say personally that I've been tracking Nikto that closely, but I was really surprised to see that number for a Nikto. Same seller also had Cathaba. This is the one I have in prototype form with the brown bandana. Another nice unpunched and beautiful European card. It's got some kind of corner curl in that bottom right-hand corner, but overall pretty good shape. And that one sold for $96, so a little bit less. Now, going back to my point about the Shea Vizsla that I talked about that was graded AFA 8.0, this is a even lower grade one. This is the Revenge Slave Leia VC64. This was only graded 70 by Collector Archive. So here's the label on it, 80, 70, 95 for an overall 70, because the 70 damage was enough to bring the overall score down. That's another question I get a lot. But, if one of the sub-scores, in this case the blister score, is a 70, if it's bad enough, it's going to bring the whole score down for the entire item, and the overall score will be a 70. And so that's the case that you see here. But look at the price. Look at that price, $450 plus shipping. I mean, that is a crazy number for an item that's not very high grade for a modern item. And, that one sold, I don't know, I don't have the date here in front of me, but that one sold, in the last few days. And then just yesterday, another one exactly like it, Revenge of the Jedi, unpunched, with, Slave Leia. That one looked to be in amazing condition. I mean, much better condition than the 70 grade. It certainly is higher than a 70 overall grade. 85, maybe 80, 85 plus, 85 at worst. It's got, you know, a little bit of, it looks like it's got a little bit of corner ding on that blister. So, you know, let's call it an 80 maybe. But that one sold for $250 plus shipping. That one was $450. It only costs $40 to $50 to grade one of these guys. So, you know, to me, it's just crazy to pay those prices for the Shea Vizsla and for this graded Princess Leia with a 70 grade when you can get them for, let's call it half the price, and sometimes with a second figure, like with that Shea Vizsla. So I'm not really sure why or what someone was thinking with that price. That just seems way too high for a 70 grade. Another one that has been slowly creeping up in price is the MagnaGuard. I mean, this one has been kind of a little bit high, but this price is even higher than I've been seeing lately. And this one sold for $153 US. This one, again, was overseas in the United Kingdom. But this was the foil MagnaGuard. It looked to be in absolutely amazing condition. But $153, I mean, I've been kind of seeing 100 to maybe 120. But those are creeping up, it appears, on price. And it looked awfully nice, though. Now, this is another one that really confused me. This one was not even in mint condition, but this is the original issue Han Solo in trench coat. And you can see on the bottom right-hand corner there of that front of the card back, it's got a pretty major crease that's color breaking. And it sold for $115. So, you know, again, I don't know if that seller really paid that or not, or that buyer really paid that or not, but maybe it's nostalgia with the 50th anniversary version that just came out and they wanted to get both. I don't know, but that number seems really high to me, just given that, you know, it's got a pretty major color breaking crease on the front of the card. A couple of Jocasta new Brian Toys exclusives sold. This one was in kind of middling condition for the box, but obviously the figure is still on the inside and it looks mint. But that one sold for $151 plus shipping in an auction. And then another one also sold that the box looked to be in a little bit better shape, but still not perfect. The card looked great. Obviously, it's still in there. That one sold for $210 or best offer. So, you know, that one hasn't been cheap, just given that was a Brian Toys exclusive. But I've heard that there is a lot of leftover stock for that, and it's not that difficult to find one of those. It's not a figure I'm particularly interested in, so I've never pursued it. But 150 to 200 seems to be the going rate, which seems high to me. Real quickly, again, on the Bad Batch 4-pack, that's a pre-order. These are still selling like hotcakes, and so I probably should have bought one when they were pre-order, or when they were available for pre-order, but they're still selling for 100, and this one just sold for 155. It's a pre-order. I've seen as high as 200 plus. It's just crazy what people are willing to pay for that 4-pack, and I'm hoping that one of my supplier friends, reseller friends will come through with a pack for me. But it's going to be a beautiful pack, and certainly has drawn a lot of interest from the secondary market with these prices. But I still think we're going to see some more inventory pop up available, you know, as they kind of roll out production with these. Another one that actually, you know, I always seem to have an Ahsoka in my videos, but this one actually was in pretty darn good shape. This was a Canadian variant Ahsoka, and this one was unpunched like mine. I have seen some very rare unpunched examples, but this one is punched like mine. But it looked really mint, and really nice condition, 85 plus or 90 overall. And that one sold for $458 with free shipping, 21 bids. I mean, in the current environment where I've seen some of these Ahsokas sell, I mean, I've seen them sell for $300 loose, not even on the card. And so to get it for $458, I thought that was a really, really good deal, whoever picked that one up. I mean, it just seems like that's well below where the market seems to be selling these for the most part. But finally, this was one that I had my eye on. This was a case fresh, absolutely gorgeous U.S. card, unpunched Republic Trooper Expanded Universe. And I do have a reseller, Bounty Hunters Guild. He's got me one of the new ones coming out, the reissue for the Vote from the Vault. So he did reserve one of those for me. I'm going to try and get two. I'm going to try and get two from them. They're going to be case fresh, I guarantee you. And I'll give one away on the channel, okay? But this one was the first issue, and it was in immaculate condition, and it sold for $310. So that price is about about average. 275 to 300 seems to be what this one seems to be going for. So just some more market data for those of you out there who are looking. I hope that you are enjoying these videos. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and please consider subscribing. Please like and comment below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.